we don't know where to place you because you're not skinny enough to be the lead, and nor are you fat enough to be the fat best friend. If your first season is a success, you are screwed because season two, like you said, you have to keep the essence alive.
She started her career with a show about friendship, and now she's part of the most celebrated show about female friendship, FOMO Shots. Maanvi Gagroo joins me today on Filmfare OTT Showcase, a prelude to the MyGlamm Filmfare OTT Awards. Thank you for being part of my OTT Showcase.
Thank you, Jitesh. Thank you for having me.
My first question to you is, how did FOMO Shots change your life? In the sense, it talked about interesting topics like identity,
correct,
body shaming, and basically a search,
correct,
for identity.
for self.
So, yeah. So, what are your thoughts?
So, two things. It changed my life professionally as well as personally. Professionally, of course, there was suddenly I had scope to perform, to be able to emote and have a graph. There was a graph to my character. It wasn't just a very unidimensional character. It had aspects to it. It was fun. It was lots of things, right? So professionally, it put me a couple of notches higher than, let's say, what others would earlier view me as in terms of a performer. And of course, the footfall of a show on Amazon Prime and a show like Homo Shots was immense. A lot of people saw it, especially season two, because it came during the pandemic, and right at the beginning of the pandemic, when everybody was trying to figure out what the hell is going on, and everybody was locked down, nobody knew what's going on, and suddenly this show comes, which is, and we were stuck at home without our friends, family, and suddenly this show comes, which is celebrating friendship and life, and you're missing your friends, and it's very lighthearted, right? It's not a very morbid show. It's lighthearted, it's celebratory in its nature, and suddenly it offered this freshness that people were kind of yearning for. So that's what happened with season two, and I started getting a lot of work calls and stuff. So professionally, that's what happened with FOMO Shots. In terms of my personal journey, it was very interesting, Jitesh, because I never saw it like that, and very subconsciously, like for example, I've often spoken about this, that I used to be extremely conscious of my lower body. Like I wouldn't wear shorts or short skirts. For the last few years, it had, of course, in school, college, I used to wear. But post that, I got really conscious of my legs and stuff. And then suddenly, and in FOMO Shots, as Siddhi, I've only worn short skirts and short dresses. And I realized that automatically, without really making an effort as such, post the shoot of the first season, I was gravitating towards shorter clothes, and I would automatically pick out clothes that were like that. And our director, Anu Menon, our director of season one, she actually pointed it out to me much later. Like after we finished shooting, and 2-3 months had passed, and we'd all met for a lunch, and I was wearing like a short, I think I was wearing a pair of shorts and a t-shirt. And she looked at me, she's like, do you realize you've started dressing like Siddhi? And I remember the Maanvi I had met 7 months ago was like, I'm not going to do this, I'm not going to do that. And suddenly I'd opened up, for the lack of a better phrase. And I was like, yeah. And then I realized that I have actually started getting attracted to a certain kind of clothing, and I'm just freer with my body. And there was I didn't think I needed self-acceptance. I thought I was pretty self-accepting, but apparently I did, and I think it offered me that. So yeah, that was personally what FOMO Shots did for me.
You talked about self-acceptance and being freer with your body. Did you have to also go through any sort of body shaming? And, is that an important issue with you in your life at any point?
So never in my personal life, but professionally, professionally, I remember people telling me, and well-intentioned people coming and telling me that, we don't know where to place you because you're not skinny enough to be the lead, and nor are you fat enough to be the fat best friend. So you're somewhere in the middle. And I used to often look at them and say, yeah, but guys, I'm normal. Like, this is what normal people are like. They're not everybody you meet on the streets is like size 0 and super toned, and not everybody you meet on the streets is really obese or heavy. So that this is what normal looks like. There are days when I'm feeling skinny, there are days when I'm feeling bloated, and so, and like every girl or boy does for that matter. So yeah, this was often told to me, and I did. I mean, of course, there's wellness and health has become important to me as I grew older, and as I became a bigger and bigger part of this industry. So of course, I've been working out. I've been trying to watch what I'm eating, and it's not just about the way your body looks or your weight. It's about your skin. It's about your hair. It's about how you're feeling. Because I do believe that they're all interlinked. And because when you're working out or you're leading a healthier life, there are endorphins that are making you feel better. You're more productive. You're more active. You're working better. And of course, the opposite is true. So there's been a general, shift in my worldview or my journey as such as well in terms of health. But yeah, in terms of profession, like it coming from the outside, external, has always been professionally. Like, people would be like, we really don't know where to put you, until OTT came about.
Also, FOMO shots was really an celebration of female sexuality. What is your take on it? Also when you do a sequel, there is so much pressure to match the spirit of the original. Then there's also, it's a hatchet job, because the first sequence serial was a big hit. So the second episode's just sort of, the second season just hastily put together. What's your thought on all of that?
So I feel in terms of female sexuality, I thought it was something that we'd never seen on screen before. And I remember as an actor, I was extremely apprehensive before doing the show because we're all part of the same conditioning pool, right? So I was like, I don't know, and this is on the web. I don't want clips of these to land up on various sites and people sharing it amongst their groups and stuff. So there was all these weird things, which of course, I remember an actor friend of mine had pointed it out to me, and he said, but he's like, what's your concern? And I said that, I don't want people watching it and getting sexually aroused, and he was like, but why? Like, when you're doing a crying scene, you want people to cry with you. When you're doing a funny scene, you want people to laugh with you. So when you're doing a scene about intimacy, why wouldn't you want someone to get aroused, as long as they're not going out and becoming violent about it? What's wrong with that? It's a human emotion. And I was like, oh, and I was stumped because I hadn't seen it like that. I had a lot of baggage, and I'm like, no, I don't know Indian society and Indian internet, and it's so weird, and I'm going to get trolled, and this and that. But then I realized that, of course, and the team was great, right? And they're all women, they're all intelligent women. They understand these things, and they tried to make us all comfortable. And I remember, of course, with different seasons, there's also the comfort level which keeps increasing. You're not just with the character or with the story, but with the people as well. So there was always that I knew that these are people who have a certain aesthetic, that they're not going to do a botchy job of it. They'll do it well. And so there was a certain level of trust also. And my personal limitations that I put on myself, I overcame those. And gradually, it's been a gradual process. It's been wonderful. And in terms of season 2, you're right. There's so much pressure, I feel, Jitesh, that, if your first season is a success, you are screwed because season 2, you have, like you said, you have to keep the essence alive, the essence of the show that you've established. You have to keep that alive. You have to take it a notch higher. It can't be the same level as season 1, because people, what are you doing different then if you're giving them the same thing over and over? and it has to match the expectations and go beyond, because people are now season 1, they didn't know what to expect, so they were coming in with with open arms and blank slates, and they're like, okay, we'll take whatever you give us. And suddenly with season 2, they were like, okay, we've established a certain level, and now we have to beat that and keep them happy. And I thought they did a fantastic job of that. And usually that's why season 2s of most shows don't do that well. And I mean, historically speaking, of sitcoms or a lot of the drama shows, season 2 is seemed to be like, it's claimed that season 2s are always a little disappointing, because you have to kind of match up to people's expectations. And I thought FOMO shots managed that. Of course, like I said, the pandemic really helped us, in some ways.
Did it help to be directed by women directors? So there's empathy, there is restraint. Did that help?
So, I don't know what it's like to be directed by a male actor in this show, a male director, sorry, in this show. So I don't have a point of reference for this particular character or this kind of a show. But yes, definitely. Like, I think there was a certain level of comfort that automatically comes with the territory. The minute you hear that it's a female director, I don't know if it's correct to have that bias, but there's suddenly you feel like, okay, I can go tell her this. I can talk about clothes that, listen, I don't want this to show, or I don't want, like, this is looking weird, or that is, I mean, suddenly, and with a male director, I might probably feel that, okay, he may not understand this, and they may not really know what it is that I'm talking about. If, like, for example, if I'm telling my female director that, can we do this scene later, because I'm on my period and I'm feeling bloated, she'd get it. She'd get exactly what I'm saying. I wouldn't have to offer more explanations. But with a guy, I'm not saying a male director won't get it, but a male director would be like, okay, but oh, acha, theek hai. I mean, they might just kind of put their hands up in the air saying, I don't understand these things, whatever, do what you want or something. They'll be, like you said, with a woman director, there's a certain level of empathy that comes with a female actor. And not to say that I've worked with some brilliant and extremely empathetic male directors also, but if for a show like this, I think it helped. But again, I don't have a point of reference.
How has your background shaped you as an actor? Tell me a little about your background. Especially say college. Did you do theater? Was there something that drove you to acting?
Not at all. Surprisingly, I had never thought of acting. I mean, forget acting as a profession. I never acted in school or college, in plays, none of that. I was, however, a performer. Like, I've been a dancer. Like, I've been training in dance since I was a kid. So I've been performing on stage. So there was an element of performance that was always a part of my extracurricular activities. But
Drama queen,
yeah. And like, a lot of times when I'm being dramatic in real life, I look at my friends and I'm like, guys, this is my riyaz, this is my riyaz for actually after the work. But no, on a serious note, so I never, acting was never a part of this, like, it was never like in the scheme of my things. But there was, like, I feel there's a certain, I've always been drawn to stories. I've always been drawn to stories of human experience and life. So, like, I've always been a reader. I've always been a reader of fiction, not so much non-fiction. In college, I studied psychology. I majored in psychology, which was again about people and understanding people and their motivations for doing things, behavior patterns, emotions, this, that. So there's always been an interest in that. And I think all of this combined is because acting happened very accidentally for me. It was never something I planned. I remember Dhoom Acha Dhoom, which was the first ever acting thing I did in my life. Disney was shooting that they were planning to shoot it in Delhi, and they were going to schools and colleges, and because it was a school-based show, so they wanted people from schools and colleges to come and audition. And I remember I didn't think much of it because they'd come to our school as well. And my one of my teachers insisted that, Manvi, you should go. And I was like, but ma'am, I don't act. And she said, I know you have that bone in you, just go. And I ended up going, and I ended up getting selected. And then it's just like it rolled from there.
Thank you so much for being in conversation with me.
Thank you, Jitesh. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye.